I'm going to tell you a very powerful story. One every one of you need to pay attention to, whether you like it or not. 99% of people run away from this, from the truth, because they believe in their own truth, trapped in their mind, with self-centered ego, with voices inside the mind that tells them to do that. They only believe in their own truth and their own opinions. And people are so trapped in mentality today, they have no spirituality. No mental telepathy, ESP, remote UN telekinesis, levitation, spoon bending, clock warning, folding space and time with deja vu to predict the future and prevent what's going to happen. People can't think clockwise anymore. They can only think anti-clockwise with grammar. Okay? Religious, political cults and New Age cults depend on grammar. And they all do with their opinions. And they're trapped so deep into themselves and their own opinions worldwide, they don't even know what they're doing anymore. They can only use 7 to 15% of their brain. And some people can master their mind, use 100%. And there's a vast difference between people that can master their mind, use 100% of their brain and all their supernatural power compared to someone that can't. And we are met with the greatest resistance across the world by the rest of the world with self-proclaimed prophets, truthers, and social media actors, right, that thinks to know better than what we do. Imagine being in our shoes when we were naturally selected, right, through a natural process with divine interventions, with unexplained aerial phenomena, with principality in the power in the air. You know, some of us has an angel watching over us, a primordial being, a celestial primordial being. You're told you will not know who we are, not the way you're trapped in your mentality, in a personality. Because you have amnesia and trapped in a reincarnation trap and you don't believe in it. You have amnesia, how would you know? You can only use up to 15% of your brain. How would you know if you can't use 100%? When I was 5 years old, I told my mother about the worst moment of her life in 1945 in World War II, 15 years before I was born. Okay, she said I was a freak of nature. In 2008, in DNA studies done, I was the first human being on earth found that could cure the human condition and everything you suffer from. I don't have mental disorders and defects, and every Westerner does. 600 to 6,000 defective genes hereditary into their kids, and 77% of their children today is born with chronic diseases because they live in denial, declared in 2003 when they're told they were crazy in 1999 and losing their sixth sense for the sixth time in the sixth mass extinction. And that's their spirituality. That's all their supernatural power, which is now gone in every Westerner because they're only mouthpieces. They're just all talk, no action in real life, right? Do you know people you listen to on social media? Do you know who they are and what they've done? Have you seen the mark on earth they've left behind? Do you know what they've done? Have they done anything to stand against the sixth mass extinction, strip from the sixth sense for the sixth time? Were they involved in the Extinction Rebellion that rebelled the book Revelation, that rebelled the artificial intelligence, that rebelled evolution mutation, that rebelled educational system that designs you on reverse psychology engineering to dumbing you down and strip you from your biological genes to use your sixth sense? Because that's what they do in education from generation to generation. And then you all rock out of school thinking you know better than your parents and think they're dinosaurs as you become a homotech, transhuman, in transhuman states, in the zombie apocalypse, right? In the body snatching morals where people are controlled by an outside influence on their reality they give consent to, and they don't believe in it. Well, why do you think they all suffer from stress, fear, and anxiety, confusion, frustration, delusion, paranoia, and mental disorders and defects going through the roof and turbocharge rates? Why do you think everyone's so exaggerating with their opinions? Huh? They lost their sixth sense since 1920. Their 24th chromosome went in dormancy in 1920. You can see in study research. And that's the chromosome that gives you supernatural, superhuman abilities. And the last human being born on earth that's got those abilities was born in 1960. You're declared post-human states in 1999. And a species in denial in 2003 because you only live in grammar and artificial intelligence and selections that are unnatural. And then you live in denial about it worldwide. So does every person around you. They live in denial as well. Have you got mental telepathy, ESP, remote UN telekinesis, levitation, spoon bending, clock warning, Can you fold space and time with deja vu to predict the future and prevent what's going to happen at a time where time stands still, life preserves into the past and the future? Because I could at 5 years old. I told my mum about the worst moment in her life in 1945 in World War II, and now it's proven that we have genetic memory. We have ancestral tools. And I was always told it's a freak of nature by every Westerner in the world because they're artificial and haven't got those abilities. And then when they listen to someone who can master their mind and harness the power, the divine power to command nature, what do? Throw stones at them, thinking they know better with artificial intelligence trapped in their mind and can only 7 to 10% of their brain. So limited they've got no idea what they're doing with artificial intelligence and come to their own conclusion with reasoning in their mind. With a voice of mind that's been ultimately designed for extinction declared worldwide by Jeremy Gibson, 16,000 top scholars in the world and 45,000 teachers, you're listening to the wrong voice of the mind. But you don't believe in it. You don't listen to yourself. Consciousness is a mental event, a mental process, an illusion of imagination, set up by the Rockefellers into a conscious singularity by WF. And everyone lives in their consciousness, which is mentality. Christ consciousness, mentality, not spirituality, because they don't have any. They don't have any. They don't have any. Worldwide. Very few people can master their own vessel and control their mind and use 100% of their brain. And they're mathematical geniuses. Unlike the Western civilization with the highest IQ in the world, that can only use 15% of their brain. And then we get discredited and suppressed the most. And then you follow false prophets and false teachers worldwide and actors that just want to make a name for themselves with their own opinions. And then you mentally resonate with them because you're mental. You don't follow your instincts. You don't think instinctively outside the mind. You don't follow your codependent feelings because you can't even keep a relationship together anymore. Even with your own families and friends, you can't abide with them. And there's no soulmate relationship anywhere in the world. Not fucking one. Reported in the biggest documents in the world. Okay? Less than 0.5% has got soulmates. Worldwide. Less than 0.5% has got soulmates. And when it comes to codependent relationships, genuine, that holds on to their friends forever and never conquer debate and divide with opinions, it's only 1.3% that's got all the attuned to codependent power, where their aura's clockwise 24 hours a day, while the rest of the world's anti-clockwise all day and their body cells going corruption corrosion during the daytime and can only appear 3.5 hours at night in 98.7% of the population that lives in denial. They got no fucking aura. They got no sixth sense. They only got mentality in a 5 sense world, and they can only use their sixth sense 1 to 5%, and that's their spirituality. So no grammar or any religious, political, call or New Age grammar is going to get you out of this. It's unbelievable how stupid people really are, how brainwashed and brain dead they are. They can only use 7 to 15% of their brain, and when you can use 100%, you've got all your abilities. And when we teach the resurrection, the crossover, you avoid us the most because you think you know better in your mind with a voice of mind that puts you in a comfort zone, and you believe that voice of mind in your own comfort zone. But you don't know what freedom is. You haven't got a fucking clue what it is. You're living in a delusional state. And you're suffering stress, fear, and anxiety, confusion, frustration, and delusion in your body cells in corruption, corrosion during the daytime. And you cannot repair your genetic memory because you don't even know how to use it. You lost your abilities with amnesia to use your genetic memory. And your ancestors tools with 130 nucleoside molecules, genetic repair kit with 2 molecules mortality to preserve DNA. The self-preservation made for life. And in 2008, it's discovered that I can cure my own diseases and all my adverse effects from anything I suffer with the human conditioning and repair all of it. Because I don't think like you do. I think outside the mind, in my primordial state, in my celestial primordial state. I'm spiritual. I live in my spirituality, not in my mentality, in some ridiculous personality on reverse psychology trapped inside my mind with amnesia and the reincarnation trap where I think I know better, but I don't. But you do. 99% of you do. That's why it's the end date in 27 September, because God cannot trust any human being on earth that sits on a screen all day and merely resonate with a 5 sense world on a screen all day with radio waves and principality bound the air that controls them, with mind control weapons declared worldwide in 1997 and declared worldwide as speech in denial in 2003 when you were told you're under mind control in 1999 and your parents are crazy. Now you're 10 times more crazy because you avoid it and you keep on doing what you're told. For 26 years, you keep on doing what you're fucking told and using the same fucking tools over and over and live in denial. And now you're trapped in screens so much and artificial intelligence you don't even know what you're doing anymore. 98.7% anti-clockwise in their DNA, in their aura. They have no sixth sense. They can't see the picture that tells them 1,000 words going to lie to them with dimensional thinking. They can't use it. Only in visions and dreams and an imagination that runs wild. In their consciousness. Our consciousness, mental event, a mental process, an illusion, imagination that runs wild. And they're all living in a wild imagination with stress, fear, and anxiety and over-exaggeration worldwide. Their body cells, they have 600 to 6,000 defected genes, which means they're defected. It means they're deformed. It means every atheist is deformed. It means every person in the world is deformed, as born in Revelation, recorded worldwide with DNA. DNA is declared the book of life, and DNA does not lie, and proves that everybody else in the world depends on it, no matter what they say. On the 22nd of December 1989, the Kempsey bus accident stopped Australia. Stopped the whole country. 36 people died in a head-on collision with two buses. The most horrific road accident in Australian history that stopped the whole country. My brother and his wife, Kathy Christensen, Jan and Kathy Christensen, was heading south on the McCatheri's bus to spend Christmas with her parents. And at 2 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd of December, 2 days before Christmas, they had a head-on collision just outside Kempsey. 20 people died on my brother's bus, the McCatheri's bus, heading south. Transit was heading north, 16 people died. The head-on collision killed 36 people and over 50 people seriously injured. Stopped the whole road and blocked the road for 42 kilometres. They flew him into Port Macquarie Hospital, all the emergencies. It's like the MASH unit when you walked in there. It was horrific. My brother was the most critically injured and his wife passed away in the accident. He was flown into the PA hospital under Dr. Wright, the first heart and lung transplant surgeon in the world, who owns his own ward in the top of the PA hospital. He was the biggest expert on heart and lungs, and his lungs were collapsed. All this rib cage was collapsed. He had 5 internal bleedings. They had to remove his spleen. He had a ruptured bowel, and his liver was cut in half. They had to stitch that back together. He was horrific. 500 broken bones. How he survived was only a miracle. He was given about 5% chance of living by Dr. Wright. Dr. Wright did not believe in life after life. The head of Queensland Mental Health Board, the headquarters in the same hospital, PA Hospital in Brisbane. The same headquarters is in the same hospital. And the top psychiatrist and Dr. Wright put a massive article in the paper, one of the biggest miracles ever in the world history. Believe me, you need to listen very carefully. God created this miracle, not some psychological creature that's artificial with self-centered behavior or self-proclaimed nutcase that lies to everybody to get attention, because they haven't had any divine intervention or any divine power or anything like this happen in their life. And you have to be observant about this. Who has the miracles and divine intervention and who has the power? And who's given that authority? Instead of these idiots on screens all day trying to make a name for themselves. Most of you fellow idiots that all talk, no action. And when you go into their history, they were not designed for this moment. Look at my 10 videos here. Look at my videos. Look at my book. I predict the future. The testimony drug we Reborn, I created bread manna, the drug that Christ has most used to bring people back in the primordial state on every testing centre across Australia, where we brought people back in the primordial state like you see in the movie Limitless, to use 100% of your brain with a vortex of information with sevenfold response, spirituality, right? Not mentality. But brought them right out of their vessel into their primordial state to use 100% of their brain on every testing centre across Australia that caused the biggest mental health research and biggest DNA discovery ever done. In my DNA, the book of life, with spirituality and spiritual power, divine power to command nature, in the biggest documents by the biggest think tank and biggest DNA study ever done. I'm number one primordial being across the world with supernatural power bringing people back to life as well. With the most powerful peer reports and CCTV to back it up. With the most powerful confirmation on earth. And nobody believes in me. Imagine how the Father feels right now when he knows that 99.99% of Western throw stones to me and they're artificial human beings and have no feelings and no faith at all. Only in the voice of mind that says them otherwise. That's the only thing they believe in themselves and what they're trapped into believing in. And that's a known fact because I'm one of a kind and I have a genetic memory of Christ, David and Abraham going all the way back. I have a genetic memory far beyond your mind. And I don't care what you say, the evidence is there to back it up. I can do what Christ can and more with the most powerful confirmation on earth. So no matter what comes into your fucking low-life mouth, I know what you scum are like. 99% of you. Artificial reptilians. Reptilian mentality. And you refuse to cross over in the primordial state, in the 24th seed, in the 24th chromosome. You refuse to cross over and follow the right footsteps. And it's not my problem, it's yours. You're the one that's going in the abyss, in the sixth mass extinction strip in the sixth sense for the sixth time because you haven't got a care factor. You're trapped beyond the point of return, majority of you. Living in your mind, and you're suffering every day from stress, fear, and anxiety, and lie to yourself about it at the same time. You're not free. You haven't got freedom. You haven't got liberation. You haven't crossed over. Look at my followers. Look at their testimonies. They go through the transformation with the book Freedom by Jeremy Gibbs by 16,000 top scholars in the world. The Holy Grail of Life, DNA, the book of life. DNA, the book of life. Freedom, the cure of the human condition that's going to save humanity. And when I breathe in the holy breath of life. The most powerful declaration on earth with the most powerful scholars on earth. On the same page for the first time in history. And you're not on it. You're on anything else but. Funny that, isn't it? We restore your spirituality with the supernatural power and nobody else in the world does. Nobody else in the world does. Teach the resurrection because I'm the only one that does. And I protect the elect as sworn in the Bible history. I'll come from the cave of prison with the tooth of the masses, with fire coming out of my mouth from raggedy clothes, like a thief in the night with shining armor. And there's no one else on earth like me. I promise you, you do your education and your research, you realize there's no other human being on earth like me, and no one can compare with me, especially with the miracles behind me. The most powerful on earth ever recorded. In 1989, my brother, he was in a coma for 3.5 weeks in PA hospital under Dr. Wright. Number one, heart and lung transplant surgeon in the world with his own $50 million award on top of the PA hospital. After 3.5 weeks in a coma, he flatlined for a moment and came out of the coma, put in a ward next door. He was critically injured with wires in him everywhere. Over the next 10 days, he said goodbye to 19 people. And Dr. Wright and the psychiatrists were there monitoring this. They wrote a massive article in the paper, one of the biggest miracles ever in global history. They were there in the moments they came to say goodbye to him, with divine intervention, divine power. Lit up the room like you wouldn't believe. And no one could miss this, right? We were all there, our family. My family, Dr. Wright was there, nurses were there, and also the head psychiatrist from the Queensland Mental Health Board were both there. And not only did they go through these events, but they recorded every name that my brother said goodbye to. He said goodbye to every person and their first name. 19 people that died in this bus, Kathy, his wife, being the last. At the end, this is recorded in the paper. Dr. Wright and the head psychiatrist confirmed my brother had no memory of the accident. Zero. And he didn't know anyone on the bus except for his wife. Yet, he said goodbye to 19 people with a massive divine intervention in that room, and they were there and witnessed this themselves. When Kathy came, it was the most spectacular moment, right? An orb of light came in, shined the whole room up, and changed the atmosphere in that room with love pouring all over us in ways you cannot explain, but left you speechless, gobsmacked and dumbfounded. And in that moment, as Dr. Wright and Queensland Mental Health put in the paper in this miracle, Kathy said she was the only one that made it. The driver that didn't come was responsible for the accident, and he went in the abyss. These were her words. He went to the abyss. The other 18 were lost and getting one more opportunity. The other 18 were lost and coming back. The other 18 were lost and come back. Christ learned reincarnation, life after life. And at 24, he said, I'm son of David, son of Abraham. Nimrod resurrected the Osiris and into the all-seeing eye of Horus. Also into Herod and also into the Rockefellers that controls the world because they don't have amnesia, but they trapped you in it on reverse psychology engineering and got you by the balls. But they are masterminds in this world, like Bill Gates by 24 that couldn't read and write, right? That became the most powerful entrepreneur in the world. And he runs the whole world and he's the biggest criminal on earth. He's the biggest criminal on earth and all his crew are criminals. The worst criminals in the world with the Rockefellers and all the elite. And the governments and the authorities stands by the worst criminals on the earth. You know, taking over the whole world in the last 100 years. Revelations in the last 100 years. And they took over the world the last 100 years, right? While you sat there and supported them every day and turned a blind eye. And you're all talk, no action. I left my fucking mark on earth and unearthed the hub with mind control in 97 and caused the Royal Commission and caused the stolen big donation Napoleon payout and the biggest mental health research and conducted in global history, brought down the highest dead time and bonds and misbonds in 30 years. And my arresting officer with 40 other cops and politicians retired the police force. I put my mark on earth and Chief Justice Jersey put my 2 court cases in every university in 2010 as the most corrupt case in Australian history. And I was unlawfully deported. And my lawyers were threatened. And I'm sitting under Interpol in Denmark, punished for the rest of my life because the Antichrist took over the fucking world. And I unearthed that way back. That's why Julian Assange got locked up in England, because we unearthed the hub. We were the anonymous that cracked the hub and exposed all the documents in 1999 worldwide, and you didn't pay attention to the IPP signing reports. Did you read the 15,500 documents that we exposed in 99 from the IPP Science Climate Reports, that you're stripping your sixth sense for the 6th time in the 6th mass extinction, and that the world's mentally insane, possessed by an outside influence that controls them? No, you didn't read any documents at all. You just listened to the media, didn't you? And used to believe what you're told, right? Because you're all in denial. You're now all controlled by the same outside influence in mentality with the voice mind that tells you to do that. And we warned you in 99 and you didn't listen. Well, now it's got all you by the balls. And you don't believe in it. Mate, you're not free, are you? You all die prematurely from stress that's cleared worldwide, getting younger all the time, with defective genes, riddled with parasites, riddled with delusional parasitosis, riddled with a hostile lineage with a voice mind that tells you to do that, on artificial intelligence that's only a personality. That's why you believe in consciousness, a mental event, a mental process, an illusion of imagination because of personality. And you're trapped in your own personality. That's why you come to your own conclusion with reasoning by design. And that's nefarious, because it's only the mind. It's not spirituality, it's mentality. And you can't use your celestial primordial state. You can't use your sixth sense. 27 senses, divine power to command nature. You can't even use them. You live in denial. You have to cross over. You have to go through the rebirth. You've got to be resurrected back in your primordial state with the book Freedom by Jeremy McGivers, the Holy Breath of Life. And we're not breathing, the Holy Breath of Life. And we teach it every day, and we do it once it does, with the success from our followers. And you can read their testimonies or see their testimonies on my platforms. The rest of the world's failing as they're controlled by Baal. Boldness, reliability, anti-clockwise in the aura. And they live in their mind with mentality, in a comfort zone. And 99% is not going to make it, I can guarantee that. They will not make it. They think they will. They're not the humble species that can levitate a 1-ton stone like the Aboriginals, like the Shilla Masterminds, 257 years old with birth period and 500 years old without. They follow known as family, the naked drunks that took away the universal language, the milestone of Nimrod. and they all are artificial human beings and can't live to be 120, can't even make it to 80, with mental disorders and defects going through the roof because they follow known as family of the naked drunks. And that's why every Westerner's a naked drunk. A naked fucking drunk, all talk, no action. The road accident in 1989. 18 people got sent back because they were lost. 18 people sent back because they were lost. And you don't believe in reincarnation and a reincarnation trap? Then remember, God created this evidence that you don't believe in because you only believe in yourself and all your scientific bullshit and all your fucking lies and self-proclaimed nutcases and artificial post-humans worldwide. Artificial post-humans since 1960. They can't use their natural process or their genetic memory. They have amnesia and can only 7 to 10% of the brain. So you're all deceived by your religious political cults and New Age. All artificial human beings worldwide on a screen all day want to make a name for themselves with their own belief system and their own self, trapped in themselves worldwide, trapped in their mind, self-centered ego. They're not spirituality and they won't cross over. They're trapped beyond the point of return majority. Declared worldwide, DNA doesn't lie. 1990, on the 27th of January, right, after 3.5 weeks in a coma and flatline and 10 days, on the 27th of January 1990, Kathy came to say goodbye to my brother. And all my family was there. I was there, Dr. Wright was there, and the Queensland Mental Health, and 3 nurses were there. In one of the most spectacular moments you'll ever see in your life. Kathy was the only one that made it. My brother was really close to me and didn't talk to me for 27 years. I was punished for 27 years. On the 27th of January 2017, exactly 27 years later to the day, on my son's birthday. That's right, my son's birthday. He was born in 2001. On that day, 27 years later to the day, he told me why he didn't talk to me for 27 years. Because when he went to heaven and he flatlined, he was sent back because of me. And I didn't know for 27 years. I lost the relationship with my own brother and he punished me and was against me for 27 years and I didn't even know. I didn't even know. The worst moment of my mum's life, in 1945, she got bipolar. Then I got bipolar. We have hereditary genes, right? So she got bipolar from the worst moment of her life in 1945, 5 years after I was 5 years old. Then I also got the same genetic memory with the same gene defects with bipolar. I cured, she didn't. With the most powerful confirmation. They didn't think bipolar could be cured, but I cured it. And that's the first time they found the cure of the human condition with bipolar. Uncurable disease. Take that into account no matter how you feel about it, because they're facts that you're not living in. Okay? So I know how to repair because I have my genetic memory, right, to heal. And I've healed many things, and with divine intervention, even more things. God created this evidence with me, not with someone else, to prove that you have amnesia and you're trapped in a reincarnation trap. And only 5% made it back in 1990. 5% went in the abyss, 90% were lost. Today, 98.7% are lost. Okay? And if you listen very carefully to videos I've posted lately, people who's worked for the church for 30, 40 years have died recently and sent back clinically dead. And videos are put up, many from all over the world. Many. What are they all saying? When they went back up there and got sent back, it's because they didn't have a relationship and it's all about themselves, trapped into themselves so bad, right, that they got sent back with another chance. And what are they all saying? 98% are going in the abyss. And that's their words when they're sent back from heaven to earth. 98% is going in the abyss. Well, we know that with biology, that 98%'s got no aura during the daytime. So DNA doesn't lie with the sixth sense, right? Those that are spiritual people, it's only 1.3% right now in the time that you're in with DNA studies done, right? Only 125 million people are spiritual, living in their primordial state and control their business from the outside in instead of being trapped inside out. All right? Doesn't matter what you say. Your grammar and your new age religious political cults won't get you out of this. And any word grammar or the documents that says so, or he said, she said, will not get you out of this. Right? You have to go back in your primal state to think instinctively outside the mind, as I told in the Matrix documentary in 1999 when you cleared post-human states and a speech in denial, living inside your mind with psychological, self-centered ego, trapped in yourself, trapped in your mind with amnesia and cannot do what I can do and more. I can do what Christ can and more, and it's in that genetic memory, and it's in everyone's memory to do what I can. So after this event in 1992, Kirstine Ashley takes a massive drug overdose enough to kill 50 people, goes to Ipswich Hospital after being narcaned and flatlines at home, goes to hospital under emergency, in emergency ward in Ipswich Hospital, 1992, Kirstine Ashley. Fighting for her life after being narcaned, and they're pumping her stomach frantically, but they gave her 0% chance of living, but worked on her frantically and do whatever they can. When she is there in emergency with 7 doctors and nurses working on her frantically under CCTV, she flatlines a second time. When she flatlines, her body lifts 8 inches off the bed from one end to the other. They flew backwards. They could not believe what happened, but she came back alive again. The monitor came back on. So they pumped her stomach frantically as she was still in a lot of danger. This didn't happen once or twice. It happened 3 times. She wrote the most powerful poem in 2003, worldwide #1, the one and only. Very powerful. They interviewed her, the top scholars in the world, because it was the biggest miracle they've ever seen in human history. They have never seen another miracle like this with CCTV and 7 peer reports. Her body lifted 8 inches off the bed the first time, 10 the second, 12 the next. More power each time until she lives to tell the story. And she writes in the poem that I was the one given the divine power to bring her back to life. That's her version of the story. My brother was sent back from heaven to earth because of me. And she was sent back to life because of me. And they're not the only 2, but they're the 2 recorded with miracles. Most powerful miracles on earth. The 2 most powerful miracles on earth. Do you think anyone believes in me? No, they don't. Yet, I've been clinically dead 3 times, paralyzed from my neck down, got up and walked out when I was told I could never walk in, with the most powerful DNA confirmation in the world that I alter through a transformation that they could see with their own 2 eyes. From the day I died, and 3.5 years later, I kept on altering my DNA with genetic memory and repaired every single thing. I had 3 stents fitted, had to take 5 drugs for the rest of my life from a major heart attack, grew brand new artists around, don't take any drugs. You don't believe in it. I don't care what you believe. I know what you're like. You're a jealous, spiteful, weak coward. Argumentative, self-centered creatures all over that's got no faith in God. God developed me from the day I was born with the most powerful confirmation on earth. And being in my shoes is something you know nothing about. 99.9% of people don't care. And God knows that when He developed me like this. You're following false prophets all over the world. And now there's a new one coming out getting more attention who says he's a bloodline from Muhammad. And I'm telling you, the world's full of false prophets all over the world without any divine intervention, divine power. And they have not left their mark on earth with any divine power. My book has become solid evidence that I can predict the future and prevent what's going to happen on 7 peer reports on the most powerful documents in the world by the biggest think tank. And DNA studies done. I'm primordial being #1 that can do what Christ can and more. And bringing people back to life and people getting saved back from heaven because of me. 27,000 people were sent to me for visions and dreams in the last 5 years since I've been here. Do you know they all ran away? Do you know in the last 28 days, we've lost 42% of our viewers because they always run away? 27,000 people were sent to me for visions and dreams when they prayed to God and they all ran away. They all ran away. Yet I'm the only one of a kind. I am the witness that comes with the resurrection of humanity and protect the elect with the most powerful confirmation with testimonies from my followers. And believe me, 99% of people will fail because they're controlled by Baal beyond the point of return and refuse to cross over because they're controlled by Baal. They're controlled by the voice of mind that tells them otherwise, and they always run away and put their tail between their legs and think they know better. They all think they know better when they can only 7% of their brain. I'm the only one in the world that can cross people over back in their primordial state, in their celestial primordial being, with all their supernatural power to go in a new dimension with sevenfold wisdom knowledge, in a new era. 27 September 2027, the end of the new climate clock countdown, 7 years from 220 onwards. Look at a 2-minute video on YouTube. That's the date, 2,000 years from when Christ was baptized by John. 27 September 27. Exactly 2,000 years to that day on the end of the new climate clock. 27 September 27. That's the inflection point of no return, and scholars know that. Vatican knows that. They predicted it. Kim Clement predicted in 2013, 227. They're going underground military bunkers worldwide because they saw it in the looking glass. They're going underground in military and nuclear bunkers worldwide because they saw it in the looking glass. They know the end date. We all do. But Western civilization live in a delusional state. Western civilization, 99.9% are delusional. In a delusional state, they cannot use their natural abilities. They cannot use their genetic memory because they've got amnesia trapped in their mind with brainwashed behavior. They can only use 7 to 15% of the brain. They cannot use 100%. So they didn't follow the right footsteps and follow the right bloodline, the blood of the Lamb. They didn't believe in Christ. Even their pastors, preachers, and teachers and Christians all died prematurely from stress-related diseases. Prematurely from stress-related diseases. And they're all defected with gene defects. The whole goddamn lot. And they all live in denial at the same time. They depend on drugs, radio waves, frequencies and sounds, and everything else but the divine power to command nature in their own body, in their own DNA, to preserve the self-preservation for life, activating your own primordial state and your sacred secretion to conduct with your sixth sense, to see the picture that tells you that was going to lie to you. God gives you the divine power to command nature, and you don't have it. You have somebody else's power because you got no power at all. You got no supernatural power, no spirituality at all. You just lie. You know, the people that can mastermind can levitate a 1-ton stone, and fauna bends down and talks to them, trees, and they grow 10 times more fruit with 10 times more individuality because they bear the right fruit with their aura clockwise, with their sixth sense in their spirituality, and nature works on their side. Your fauna's collapsed between 38 and 90% value. Your 5-beta bacteria is collapsed between 50 and 100%. Your immune system collapsed. Your mental disorders are going through the roof. Your gene defects is 600 to 6,000 and you lie about it. You lie about it. Lie. Go take some more drugs. Go and mentally resonate with some other robot and some other actor and see where that's going to take you. Because I promise you, if you don't go through the rebirth, the crossover that we teach every day, and go from mentality in your personality into your spirituality and cross over, you'll never know. And therefore, you'll never wake up from amnesia, and you'll suffer the consequences in the sixth mass extinction, stripping the sixth sense for the sixth time. And only those that think instinctive with their sixth sense and restore their biological genes with the book Freedom by Jim McGivers and When I Breathe the Program are the only ones that's going to be saved. And it's a known fact worldwide through natural selection and natural order. You will not have a divine intervention, and you will not have a natural selection with divine power until the moment you cross over through the rebirth. And that's when you'll know, when you get saved and cross over. And you'll have the most divine intervention and the most divine confirmation and the most powerful confirmation and the most powerful clarification. But until then, you'll never know.